So now that we covered RC, let's jump into the second half of the Transformers roundtable discussion from Hasbro with the designers and everything going into the glorious year of 2022 with all the new product. And one of the cool things that they covered was Evan was talking about our upcoming Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Slammer figure and how we only knew about the robot mode and the tank mode. And he finally showed us not only the tower mode, but how it's going to work with that old 2013 Generations Metroplex. And probably I get a feeling that when we're going to finally get the official announcement of the Cybertron Metroplex for Legacy, he'll probably show how that attaches too. But we actually got to see an image of how it looks in its tower mode, like the official image of it, as well as how it attaches to your original Titan class Metroplex from the Thrilling 30 era. Pretty cool stuff. They also talked about how, like, well, where the inspiration for the robot mode came from. Apparently, the Slammer figure was designed by Shogo Hasui. Shogo Hasui, for people who are not aware of him, he was the guy that was behind kind of the renaissance of the Masterpiece era when they went from MP10 Convoy onward, where we saw the Lambor brothers with Sideswipe and Sunstreaker, and of course the Datsun brothers and Wheeljack, all those really good masterpieces that came after MP10 and the revision of Starscream and stuff like that. So Shogo Hasui, essentially, the way he tackled it is he looked at different fan interpretations of what would be a robot mode for Slammer, and he came across a piece of art done by Joe Teenby. And this, I'll post the art in the thumbnail. And Joe did something very similar to what the final product is of the Kingdom version. So that's kind of where that came from and how they came about with it. They really wanted to have something that could still be a weaponizer, but also still kind of have a base mode. And that's where it comes into them confirming, yeah, it was a partial and a slight retool of Airwave. Essentially what they did is they took the Airwave mold, and because it is one of those modulators that, you know, pieces come off, they handed that to Takara, and Takara worked their magic, decided what they wanted to keep, what they wanted to take away, and build something from that. And that's the final product that we got of Slammer, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And again, it has that flavor of fan elements there and stuff. So pretty cool that it does work with Metroplex. So if you do have one, hey, that's awesome. If you don't have one, don't look at eBay right now of the prices, because it's pretty brutal. They also went into talking about Core Class Hot Rod. And that was designed by Lenny along with Takara's Itaku-san. And they put that one together. Comes with an Energon-infused sword. The Energon-infused sword is going to be the ongoing kind of theme and gimmick of Energon weapons and stuff like that with Legacy. But because this figure, much like a few other Legacy figures, will be released early in Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom, in this case in the core class for early 2022, he's going to have his Energon-infused weapon, which also works like a 5mm port like everything else. He does have a removable spoiler, which also works as a 5mm port, which kind of gives you that dual homage to having a small Hot Rod figure that could go with your Star Convoy, because if anyone remembers, Micromaster Hot Rod didn't have a spoiler on his back. It was actually on his feet. So he didn't have that big spoiler, you know, V on his back from a silhouette and visual design. So you could kind of reenact that in a lot of ways by having that removable spoiler piece. So that's pretty cool. Aside from that, there's not much else that they talked about with the Hot Rod, essentially. Just a nice little cool design figure that they were happy to finally do that. And they want to revisit more characters to do that from the core class. It's a good, cheap price point for people to be able to get some of those iconic characters if they don't want to pay a deluxe Voyager or whatever. And they said that it doesn't come across in the images there, but the pipes, the exhaust pipes on Hot Rod will be chrome for that for early 2022 core class. I'm super excited for that one. But anyone who knows me well knows how much I love that. They also dived into certain design choices and elements from the Studio Series side of things. Number one, talking about, like, why didn't they go for like a boxy kind of G1, More Meets the Eye Parts 1, Episode 1 design for Wheeljack with his Bumblebee movie Cybertronian mode? They said that they wanted to really stay true to the robot mode that was depicted in the movie. Studio Series is all about animation or screen accuracy. So if they would have done a boxy, you know, I guess we'll call it Cybertronian G1 Wheeljack, it would have compromised the robot mode, and the robot mode did kind of have more of a say. And they ultimately, in the end, what they kind of ended up with was this Lancia design. They literally said Lancia, this Lancia design, kind of looking Wheeljack, which, I mean, I think it looks fantastic, so I'm not arguing with that one. The Brawn, they said, you know, they wanted to be the smallest of the deluxes to kind of really have that element. That was also a Shogo Isui design, along with Hasbro. He really wanted to have the drill weapon. The drill being on Brawn was a Shogo choice. Again, Shogo, who works with the Masterpieces, and how the Masterpiece toys always have certain little pieces or elements or extra accessories from their G1 counterparts. I'm pretty sure him working on the Brawn, he went, well, if I was working on a G1 Masterpiece Brawn, he would have had the drill toy, he would have had all the other extra pieces. So he probably added that with that kind of spirit of what would have been a Masterpiece version, which makes me happy to know that certain Studio Series and Kingdom figures are being done by the guys who worked on Masterpieces, because then we look at stuff like, you know, Tigatron and even, you know, Voyager class Kingdom Dinobot, Beast Wars Dinobot, and knowing where that R&D and engineering is coming from when it's brought down from those Masterpiece guys who work magic in a lot of ways. They're happy with the off-road tires they put on Brawn, and has lights similar to Bumblebee. Very happy with that design. It's really cool, really cool. And then the last one that they mention here, which was a one that a lot of people were talking about, was, so what's up with Soundwave? What's up with Soundwave? Like, why the weird, you know, hovercraft kind of like, you know, meme inspired alt mode? And they just wanted to find something that would fit the form of the character. Again, using that robot mode and going, what could we do with that robot mode, and then transform it into something while staying true, keeping that robot mode silhouette, having it transform, stay within the price point of a Voyager class, and not compromise the robot mode too much. They fell on that ultimately in the end. They had to have it be kind of wide in a lot of ways, because the only character that was confirmed to transform in that scene, if you don't count Bumblebee and you know, Optimus and stuff like that, is of course Ravage. And since Ravage was confirmed to be this little cube thing, it came from the 3A design, so like it's the only character that really like was tied to that. So it's like, well, Ravage is going to be a cube, he's got to fit in Soundwave's chest, so they had to make sure that those dimensions worked to keep that gimmick, because you are not going to have a Soundwave figure that isn't going to have an opening chest and a Ravage figure not go in it. People would riot, you know, and people would not be happy about that. So they kind of compromised, and they found a middle place with that. That's Takusan that worked on that one from Takara. So if you're not happy with it, he's the one to blame for it. But it's one that a lot of people are hot and cold on the design, but that's kind of the direction they went with that, and that's why it ended up the way it looked. And then of course, tying it into Ravage, they said, hey, you know, Ravage is one of our 2, you know, debut core class figures for this line. Again, core class is going to be part of the Studio Series line starting in 2022. And they said that, you know, with core class, they have a goal where there's a lot of characters that they've already done toys of in Studio Series, and they want to be able to revisit those characters now in that core class price point, and see if they could somehow work down the engineering of some of those larger deluxe Voyager, dare I say even leader class characters, into a core class, and work the magic and engineering in that, create a pocket-sized price point that is cheap and affordable for the younger demo that wants to also engage in the Transformers line, but doesn't want to have to spend $79.99 or more for some of the more higher tier characters, and of course also for characters that, and I use air quotes here, have been retired from the Studio Series line because they've already gotten their fair shot. So they get a second opportunity to own these characters, just in a different kind of engineering skew. And that's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty cool. They also recognize that there still is characters they haven't done yet, and they will get to that. You know, they are very aware of that short list of characters that still have not gotten official Studio Series visits. So that's pretty awesome that they will do that. But they're also going to be using that core class as a way to revisit some of those designs. And that's some pretty awesome stuff. It's really exciting what they have planned for 2022. And hopefully we're going to see more of it. They said that they want to do more of these kind of segments. They're a lot easier to do. They could just get all the Hasbro designers and engineers and everything at home in front of their webcam, and they could just, shoot the slag, so to speak, about everything. And, we'll see what happens. It's pretty cool. Hopefully we'll get some more information about some of the other stuff that has been rumored about Legacy that are going to be in Wave 1. Not everything has been revealed yet. And they're going to use this probably between now and April to fill that gap to hype new product until Legacy's official release in April of 2022. Super exciting stuff. Everything is planned more or less for early 2022, as in February, April, March. February, March, April. I'm getting it backwards there. Or anything else that's going to be of that late Kingdom stuff that's going to be in late December, early January. So keep an eye out for all of that. Pretty hype stuff. We got a amazing Saturday Night live stream coming up tomorrow. We're going to have tons of stuff to cover, super chats and everything. I hope to see you there tomorrow. And I hope you're having a fabulous Friday. It's a beautiful world out there, and I hope you're enjoying it.